been cleared out.
Yeah, 16431, okay. Unit 26 Animal. Unit 26 Animal. Unit 26 Animal. I'll be en route to the intersection of Wall Street and Spring City Road from the report of gunshots called in at my station. Unit 26 Animal, okay.
Alright. You ready?
Yes, what am I doing again?
Pull the most recent line render interface branch, which you usually are on anyway. And start drawing in it. I guess stream it too, but I could look at your stream. I assume it's running.
I'll just share on Discord. Also. The tutorial I pasted in the Heartland channel called Procedural Stylized Rock Tutorial Blender 2.8. The thumbnail for it looks like someone's making a turd.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it.
Alright, hold on.
Or maybe like some sort of weed-like plant.
If I fetch without committing, I have a whole bunch of changes that are mostly just me fucking around with lighting and probably I wouldn't be heartbroken if I lost.
You could stash them.
I'll just commit them, it's fine. It's
But
all in the
also,
scene.
that stuff you should do on a separate branch, really. Like experiments. I probably should be doing some of my experiments too on a separate branch. I do have separate branches for some of them, but I don't do them all the ways there. But like experiments, especially, like separate branch totally is what you should be doing them on, so they don't fuck with, interfere with shit like this. Like the...
I don't think it will. It shouldn't matter at all. It's just like...
Yeah, well, it's just because you never know what is going on. Like, we probably saved the scene. We probably both were saving the same scene.
No, I made a new scene. It's all in a new scene. It's a bunch of lights and it's just a bunch of meshes and lights and stuff that I pulled in from Blender or made.
Still technically a good idea to do different branches for that stuff, just so that it's all clean and organized, and so that you can tell, so that you guarantee you won't fuck with anything until the merge.
I'm definitely not gonna make a different one for each like thing I try, but if you want, I can just make my own crisp branch.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's what, like, you technically proper like use of Git would have you making a branch for each new test, basically. Technically, if you get down to it, it would be everything is like an issue and tracked and yada yada, but we don't need to do that, obviously. Really, it's just about
I'm going into
making
the
sure that you don't have
Magic Farm scene.
Yeah, I think you'll probably see my recent test, which I'm telling you to do something, and then I didn't even do it myself because I forgot and I didn't feel like switching over. But this will technically be part of
put
the
this fucking brick in front of my face. How dare you?
Yeah, I also put a plane in front of the face. Yeah, but draw around, see if it looks smoother to you in general.
It definitely
That's
is
all.
smoother. I mean, this stuff's not gonna
The
go away, but
jitters
even
gonna
that.
happen until, yeah.
I think this looks fine. I think this looks good.
Yeah. there's a Catmull ROM spline now that does it, and basically, if you like click on one of those runes and turn on the debug draw, there it is. You got it. The other one, the new game object, debug draw, and then go look at it in your scene view. Probably is where it is. So basically, if it's straight enough, it'll just do one set of triangles. If it detects it being curved, it does a small set, or like multiple sets. It can go. It varies from like between one set of triangles, 5 set, and I think 10 is what I have it set at, and those can be changed basically because it does take effort for the programming effort for that shit to work, basically to smooth it out.
It definitely feels like I feel legitimately like I have more range of motion or like more precision. Like it feels literally easier to draw.
Yeah, good. And so basically it does that. For those rows where it's breaking them down into pieces. That's all those are a Catmull ROM. So they are basically mapped across a Catmull ROM spline. And then it takes the last piece or vector and turns it towards, it averages between the two, basically the one before it and the next one that you're starting, so that things kind of turn towards each other. But all right, it looks good enough for now.
Like when you talked about being fun to draw, like it's actually kind of fun to draw now. So,
yeah. I mean, for me, it's always felt like I still don't 100% understand why. Like it's still, even I'm looking at your stream now. Yours looks good, way better now, but it's still, mine was always smoother than this even. So I still don't quite know why it's happening, but at very least, this is a path forward, and I know that this is working. Like we can still do more to this to make it. I can go a little bit more aggressively in my Catmull ROMing shit, like in how far back I'm willing to adjust. Right now, I'm just adjusting the very. You make a vertex, then the next vertex you make, I will take the very last set of points that form like the flat line on your right screen there, like if you're looking at like the sort of dead center bottom, the green and the blue. Let's say that was the last point. It takes that one and resets them to sort of blend into the next angle that you're going into, and then it runs a Catmull ROM on the points after that. So I could even go more aggressively. The question would be how much we're willing to sacrifice in terms of performance. Right now, this seems like a good balance because it doesn't really impact more than a couple frames. Is what it seems to lose.
What if these are the triangle symbols?
We could do cool triangle symbols. We should get some real symbols in there soon. If you look at what I was experimenting with, I'm working on something. But turn off the debug draw, because the debug draw actually takes a lot of effort for the thing to run, because there's an individual draw call. And then if you hit enter, actually you're gonna have to drag that. I forget if I fixed this already. No, I don't think I did. If you just hit enter while you're in the game, and then go over and look at that cube in the scene view.
Enter in the game.
Yeah, you won't see anything really.
Go over and look at the cube.
Go over and look at the cube in the scene view.
Oh, scene. Okay. Okay.
You should see so right now I'm doing it as a plane, but it's calculated as an infinite plane. I need to figure out the bounding stuff. But so now in the scene view, if you drag that plane over, you should see
the plane.
not the cube, the plane. Yeah. You should see that those points or intersections are finding every edge for the mesh that collides with this plane. So now rotate the plane and hit enter again. And now it should adjust all those too. So basically,
where can I see this data somewhere on the plane? This is, or on the cube?
This is on the plane. The code for it. Plane intersection test.
Oh, okay. So I'd have to have it.
Look at the code. It's really simple code. It's
mostly
just basic geometry.
It's checking where it intersects with all this stuff.
Yeah. So I go through every edge and look at the I calculate every edge basically. It's basically take the vertex position, the start and the end position, and then that's an edge. And then I plug that into the equation of the plane. So I get the equation of the plane from the normal of the plane. Right now it's calculated as an infinite plane because bounding the plane is a little bit harder, and I have to figure out how to do that still. I just haven't. I didn't. Today I just got this working. But then I plug it into the equation of the plane and basically do some just geometry to figure out if it will ever intersect with the plane, an infinite plane, where and then if it does, I have it give me the point that happens.
Right, and that
So
could be
I'm going
useful
to need
for
to.
mirror.
Well, we're gonna cut these. I'm gonna make a cutting one.
Oh,
just for
nice,
fun.
nice, cool. Yeah, that'll be fun. Hell yes.
There's a package for it. So I'm gonna start. What I want to do is I want to start with a doorway one that will tunnel through a mesh and put you like. I want to maybe turn the square for testing purposes, at least for now. I'll make my own door rune.
Okay.
I'll just replace it temporarily, and then, you draw the door. It'll calculate the corners, put a door in, and then ideally it will tessellate a sort of a hallway all the way down and a door and sort of another doorway on the outside of it. It's gonna take some time to figure out, but this is like the first step, is figuring out if I draw a plane, if I draw a rectangle on a surface, can I find the edges that intersect with it, right? So because essentially that, right, if we're looking at a rectangle, and it's probably easier to draw real quick. I'll just share my screen. Paint. So
that will
say
be
you have
fun.
A rectangle. You have a rectangle here, right? And let's say we have some surface, like a rock or something, right? And then if we project, basically, idea would be we're projecting plane. These are all really just planes. So if I drew, if this front rectangle is the rectangle, and I drew this, then I can define planes that go, like this, and this, right?
Right.
These are all planes, so if I can then use, I guess I would only really need 2 planes, right? Just on opposite sides. I would only need like the bottom plane and the top plane. And then that would find me the edges that I need to cut and reattach. And then I would just need to tessellate this inside as its own thing, right? So just connect that, connect this.
We should also just straight up have a rune. If you, I could work on this if you don't want to. I'm not gonna work on any more runes for a while, but it would be awesome to have this in. Feel very free to do it. I was thinking a nice simple rune. One single configuration rune I might just do is, it would be nice to have, instead of fire, because then people will expect things to burn. I would like to get the day-night cycle in, and I would like to get a rune that just glows, like how I want it to work is basically like, yeah, just a light source rune. And
I think that would be awesome. I think that's a nice, simple, and like visually effective.
Yeah.
People just like to have it, and it could be useful all the time.
I think it should be just something like the very first, most easiest thing to find out here on one of these rocks is just like a tablet straight up with it in it, like an obvious thing, not even hidden in nature, maybe. I think I mean, if
you want, we could have it literally drawn on, like already drawn by
I
somebody.
was gonna say, would there be a way for us to literally during a instance where we hit play, right, draw on the world, and once the drawing, towards the end when the drawing is like way more robust, and like we could maybe have like different gradients and things like that, and like when it looks real nice, could we literally make it so that we could go into the game and draw the stuff that your clone or whoever other magic users draw
Yeah, totally.
draw on the world, and then just hit a button to say save all these meshes, and
Yes, that should be doable. Yeah.
um. But I think the way the light
Basically
one.
just prefabbing. You're basically just saving those as prefabs, but you definitely can. I don't exactly know the ins and outs, but I know for sure it can be done.
Awesome. I think the light one should be, I don't know, something, I want it to work like almost like the Astroneer things. So I want you to draw a symbol. We'll say it's like the
Yeah, let me see here.
fire symbol or something like that, right? And then we do, and then like what I want it to do is like you draw a line out from here, and that line just glows, and then if you do like a loop, then it pops up like an actual like emanating light source, something like that. Not quite exactly that, but like something like that.
Yeah, that sounds neat to me. I like that idea of you draw a symbol to start, and then this kind of has the one of those, or the redstone element, which we wanted to work in, or you know, the original idea had the redstone element to it, and this kind of captures the spirit of that.
Honestly, we don't even once if we do it this way, like, you know, I do the fire symbol and then out from the fire symbol, from everything from this point on, from when the fire symbol is classified, this all can just be not even considered drawing, right? I could just have it switch to its own separate script if you don't, you know, if we want to keep the single classification model for going for now, like I could just basically copy.
Well, yeah, this wouldn't be. We wouldn't do this with that stuff with the classifier. That would be done literally through either detecting overlaps with itself or some other. What we define as some sort of mechanism for identifying the loops, which are math through math, not through the the neural network, which is totally.
Yeah, I just copy the draw code, swap in like a, you know, oh, now if you're holding down left click until you let go, you're doing this instead of actually drawing.
Yeah, well, you could easily just detect, like, okay, if you are in the collision box of the fire rune, then, or the light rune, then you do something different. Then don't even start the classifier, basically. Actually, it doesn't really need to even work that differently, because
still got to deal with that.
Yeah, we still need to deal with that. That's easy, right? That's just the raycast needs to.
I'll do that right now. Let's do that right now.
Those things need to go on their own physics layer, and the raycast needs to ignore that physics layer. That's it.
Let's see. That would be.
Right, I'll keep working on making the line render smoother. Still, it looks good, but it still jitters at far, and I'll see if I can smooth it out even more. But that's a good start.
In what script is the rune actually made? Do you remember the name of it?
The classifier, I believe, makes it. If you go look at the drawing stuff, it'll be on that thing. Oh, probably even. You could also just check the classifier. No, I don't remember which one. Check the classifier first. Classifier might just give you what it might just see what it returns. It might just return the type of rune.
It returns rune.
Make rune. Yeah, it does. The classifier does make the rune. It looks like. Probably shouldn't be that way in terms of organization, but.
So how do I actually where do I tell it? Can I tell it through code to ignore those things, or is that a game settings level thing?
So just to ignore the layers. So to ignore the layers, you would make sure that those things, the runes, get made on their own layer. So when the rune gets instantiated, which is looks like that's in rune factory, actually, that's done in. So if you look at the classifier, you're gonna have to go to rune factory, maybe. Are you searching the whole project or just?
Yeah.
Maybe just type in rune. Rune factory might just be in Rune. Scroll down, yeah, just Rune. So that's the Rune, and the Rune factory is part of the Rune. Yeah. Yeah.
So do I need to use a different instantiate line for classifier?
Yeah. So we do new game object, right? There must be maybe the game object layer or something. Just to see if you can mess around with it. Go to parent. Can you type in parent.layer and see what happens? Anywhere in there, like at line 39 or 39 or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you set that? Is that a settable or just read only?
I don't know how to tell
if you
that
hover
from here.
over it when it recognizes it, it'll just put an equal sign there. So layer equals, and if you hover over it, it'll tell you if it's a get set.
Get set
means that it's there, that it can be set. So yeah, and then you would just set it with a layer mask probably, which we could do manually, or if we can find, just look up how layers work. I think you could either do it. You might need to do it. If you look up GameObject.layer, it'll probably tell you how to do it in the thing. I believe you could do it with just the index for the layer, but it might need the layer mask. Layer mask name to layer. It looks like. So okay, so you create a layer, you'd name it, you do name to layer to get it into an integer that you could then set for the game object.
I just copy this, right? Basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And then change the string inside. This probably isn't where we want all this code, technically. We probably want it in like the start. Some of this in the start. We don't want it in the factory. We want the parent layer setting stuff down in there, but we don't want the.
Sorry, where's the? It's just called start.
Go to the start. Go to the start of this.
Oh,
this
you mean?
too.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, actually, does it have a start? Is this not? Oh no, it's a mono behavior, right? Yeah, it's a mono behavior. Factory. No, but Rune factory doesn't have a start method. I need to think about this.
Sorry, we were in the classifier before, right? Isn't that what we were?
Well, yeah, but the Rune factory is. I can do this actually. So it'll take a second to think about it actually. So the Rune's a mono behavior, but the Rune factory is not. If you look at the Rune factory, which is like what tells you what Rune is what, the Rune factory, if you scroll down, is not a mono behavior, so it doesn't have a start method.
Any reason we can't just make it a mono behavior?
No, we don't want it to be a mono behavior for reasons of accessing it statically and accessing it any time without having an overhead of an object. And for simplicity's sake, we could.
I could just make I can make a new script that just initiates.
No, we don't want to. We can make it a value. Well, I don't think you can do this instantiation, but we could try just real quick. Treat it like add a variable like public static int, and then layer or Rune layer or whatever. And then see if you can set that equal. See if you can use those name to layer mask functions. It wouldn't be a function. It would just see if you can name it. Just equals.
67 Sam51.
Layer.name to layer mask. See if you can do that. Yeah, that's what it is. Name.
67 Sam51. Wellington.
If that works, then we're fine.
1361. Boot Road.
And then just
apartment.
so that's a function. And inside it will be a string of the name of the layer. Which for us, we just call runes, I guess. Or rune
So this
layer.
will this define what gets hit or what doesn't get hit, or both, I guess.
This will just this is going to define a layer that we're going to ignore when we do our physics raycast. That'll be another step, but first we just do this. So layer could be just runes, rune layer. I don't think we should call it rune layer, right? Because
I was gonna call it rune hit or rune ignore.
Well, we
Something
could
like
just
that.
call it runes, right? Because it'll just be the layer that contains the runes.
Okay, so it'll be what is the runes. Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna have to make that layer, but okay. Now that we have that, then go for the parent. You're gonna have to add it still. So parent.layer equals. You don't even need to get rid of all this. Who cares about that? Just do. Well, you need to do it in the get rune method. Right under wherever you had it before. You could do it right under the new object thing in line 42. Just enter that down. Yeah, sure, that's perfect. Parent.layer equals rune layer. That should work.
Alright, and
Also, I guess I don't know why I have that, but rune equals null. I don't even know. Oh, I see. So I can use it later. I don't know why I even set it to null. I mean, it's
want to
showing
put it on the
itself
chopping
as...
block? It's gonna.
No, well, it doesn't need to go on the chopping. It needs to be there. It needs to be defined. I just don't know why I set it equal to null, because it doesn't need to be null. It can just be uninstantiated for now, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's all you need to do to get it on their own layer.
And then
Now
it's a system.
That layer.
Okay.
What's that?
Oh, can't we? Okay.
So we need to make that layer in Unity.
Do we want to? Any reason we would want to make that? You know, something someone could drag that layer into, you know, show up on the inspector. God, I'm sorry, I'm listening to the police blotter and they will not shut up right now, so I need to turn it down.
This is for the guy that's out.
Yeah, he found a gun yesterday.
I saw, yeah.
The guy who he got it from left it loaded in his garage, and when asked, this is what my boss told me, I don't know if this is true, but when asked, he said that he would have had it, you know, properly stored and in a locked cabinet or whatever, but he wanted to have it ready for if the guy was around.
That's really stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and he took shots at him too. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
he missed them all. Maybe he should have practiced a little bit more with his fucking gun.
I'm sure he was, you know, behind cover probably. I feel like in a real gunfight, most people are probably terrified. Yeah.
Not cowards. It's perfectly reasonable to be scared. There's absolutely no reason, especially when you know he has a loaded gun. All right. We need to make that layer. So go to, click on any object, and then there should be a layers. Click add layer. Call it runes. There we go, that's it. Just enter, I don't think, you have to click back on the object again. And then we don't need to do anything else, that's it for that. Now we're going to go into the drawing script.
Drawing script, okay.
Actually, just click it on the, in the hierarchy, the left-hand side. I might have a layer mask thing defined for this already. Draw controller script. Do I have a layer mask in here? Nope. Nope, I didn't anticipate this. Just open up draw controller. I should have anticipated that. You can get it by double clicking on the script in the inspector.
Oh, draw controller script, okay.
On the like gray out script, you can do it. The thing that says script and it's grayed out. If you double click on the name draw controller in that first line that's grayed out that says draw controller.
Lines. Oh, okay. Click on it.
Double click
oh, okay. Interesting.
All right. So let's just actually make it a layer mask that you can define. So do public layer mask. Put it at the bottom of our variable stack. Go to the top. All the way to the top. Right here. Oh, I do have a layer mask. I just didn't define it well. Why did I not? Let's just make that public. Int layer mask 29. Make that public. Oh, it's an wait. What do I do with this? You just highlight that real quick and see what I'm doing with it. Like, click on layer mask and find it. Okay, this is a shift. I'm doing a bit shift for some stupid reason. I don't know why. I was probably just testing stuff about how to about how to bit shift or how to handle layer masks. I think the first layer is the default layer is layer 1, and I think layer mask is like 8 bits long or something, so I must be shifting it into a layer mask. I must have just been testing how layer masks work. Pointless, doesn't need to be there. We can get rid of it because we're going to manually define it now.
Okay, do you still need your star or no?
No, it can all go away. Change that from int to layer mask. Alright, scroll down. We probably fucked some stuff up there. Maybe not. Is anything broken because we changed that to... Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, there we go. Is anything broken because we changed that to layer mask?
0 errors.
Okay. Alright, we're fine. Alright, the method could probably handle both of them. Alright, just save that. We're good.
So wait, why in here are we? So we're gonna pass. I don't know how your shit works. I can't remember.
It's just a set of bits that tells you, like, if your layers are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, yada yada yada, and let's say the rune is number 11 or whatever, and we want to hit everything except for layer 11, then we're gonna turn the 11th bit to 0, and the layer mask is just a really fast way for the raycast to figure out what layers.
I'm saying, why are we doing this in here and not? So are we still doing this where we were originally?
No, we already created code to move the rune. This code right here puts the rune on the rune layer, so the rune is already on the rune layer. We need to tell the classifier not to even look at the rune. Or sorry, not the classifier, the draw controller. That when I do this raycast, I don't want to look at
okay, I see.
That layer. I don't want to interact with it. So now, if we go back out to the to Unity, and if you had saved and click in here, hopefully that draw controller script will update with the layer mask. It looks like it did. It's that drop down there. Layer mask that says nothing right now. It's like a light gray drop down that says nothing. Yeah. Change that to just click everything first. Or yeah, I guess this is no. We probably only want to actually hit nothing first, and now click default. And that's probably all we actually want to hit, right? We probably want to hit the ground, so hit the ground. I don't know what else we. This is all a bunch of layers that we might not want to...
What is climbable?
No clue.
Is that left over from... Did this come from Necroskull or something? No. Right?
Probably it did. Climbable is almost definitely Necroskull stuff. Alright, let's just try this. This will be good enough to test. I also, though, I'm wondering... Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, seems to work.
Alright, now real quick, before you draw anything else, go look at the camera. Click on the drawing camera. Okay, alright, I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, this is what I noticed also when me and Dave were fucking around. So, if I I didn't realize the camera works like this, where like actually these are two different drawings. But if I draw like, okay, if I draw a triangle here, right? That I had that triangle, and then I draw this, you know, like it's still everything that's still
That's what I
there
was
gets
just
captured.
that's what I was just talking about, or about to check, because basically, I think this camera has its own layer mask. If we turn that, I hope I programmed it to have its own layer mask, or it might already be built in. Culling mask. Check the culling mask for the camera, the rendering. So on the right, you already have it selected in the inspector. Just look at the right-hand side. Look at culling mask. It's in the rendering section.
Classifier,
Okay.
it says.
Yeah, click that down. Something is still in the classifier layer. Click on the runes. Are they in the classifier layer still? Are they somehow in both layers? Unclick that. Unclick the runes. Click on the rune that you just drew, the most recent one. That's in the runes layer. Click on the one below it. That's in the default layer still. Basically, I'm trying to figure out why, if we can change that to, basically the culling mask just tells us what we're looking at. So if we can find what culling mask we need to set it to not see that, we can do what we basically make sure that you're only classifying on the most recently drawn thing.
Well, I was gonna say, might it
We could do either way.
might it be a thing to do to just like to have anytime you release it, if it's contacting any other like rune, have it like zoom out until it encompasses everything that is in that, and like I'm not saying we should do this, but if we did want to make everything drawable in one, or sorry, if we did want to make all our runes, you know, like one connected thing, right? I don't really want to do that though, honestly.
I don't think we
Getting
should.
pretty far away from that idea.
But honestly, though, the benefit of that would be the ability to modify runes could be a cool puzzle. Like, not modify runes in like okay, this was I don't know, I know we don't have this, but just for example, this was a fire rune, and then we turned it into a water rune by adding these lines.
Right, there could be some cool puzzles that would that where drawing on top of something that's already there would be a cool answer.
Yeah, and the ability to do that to your own stuff could be cool too. So we could do it either way. Right now, it looks like I would just have to figure out the culling mask stuff to basically make sure that the culling mask works properly. I'd have to test it a little bit. I honestly thought because the rune was on the runes layer that it would cull it, but it doesn't. So I would just need to figure out how that works.
So wait, is it not working for what I thought it was working for? Because I thought when I drew circles before, it would always...
I mean, it's going to classify the picture as the picture, basically. So, if you click on that camera again, you can see the preview. And then anytime you draw, like, whatever that picture is... it just takes that picture and sends it to the classifier, basically.
Yeah. I mean... I honestly think it's kind of cool that it works like that in a way. Like
you could do it either way.
I don't know why, but instinctually I feel like that's how I would make it if I was making it. But you know, I'll leave it to you on that front.
We can mess around with it. Like we could easily define the bounds by if you're overlapping with another rune. Just take that rune into account and give it give the classifier camera the total bounds. Like right now, because you notice it like zooms in on the new part, basically it centers on the new part, but you could just define a new set of bounds that's the combination of both runes, and then have it take a picture of the whole thing. That would be easy enough.
Fizzle. Circle is cool. I don't know, like I like that. Like I like being able to.
Yeah, it depends on how we handle Fizzle. Like, does Fizzle destroy the drawing, or does it, you know?
That's another argument for the activate button for the you know, for eating live animals. Where's my lizard also? Where the fuck did he go?
Know, he crawls around all over the place. Oh, you know what? I turned him off because he kept crawling under me.
I was gonna say he
He
Haven't
gets
seen him.
around.
He's usually wandering around over here by now.
He's just disabled. He's not deleted or anything. He's just turned off because he kept, while I was testing the new drawing shit, he kept crawling underneath me and causing me to jump around, which was annoying.
Am I different size? Did I stand in the circle? Yeah. Really would like to get your arms in too, so I could.
Yeah, I have them done. They're just not rigged. I haven't messed with that in a while. I've been focusing on programming stuff that I could actually show off. I think I need to get my. I wonder if a reason that I haven't had even a fucking interview at all is maybe because I am not sharing any of my GitHub stuff. I've been reluctant to show this GitHub stuff or share it because we put a lot of work into it, and I don't want someone to take it. I know that's unreal, not necessarily the most realistic thing, but it could happen.
Lauren's put in dozens of applications at places she's absolutely qualified for, and she's only gotten one call back out of, I would say, several dozen.
Man, it's tough. It is not a job seekers market, it feels like. Because isn't unemployment still actually super low, which makes it...
Yeah, or at least I've heard, you know, some, you know, the terrible smart people say like, oh, we need to get, unemployment needs to be higher actually because it's causing inflation and it's fucking everything up. I think I've heard that that's not true, but I've heard people say
actually, now that I think about it, that would technically help us because there's less competition, but I don't know, in my field specifically, we just keep hearing about people getting laid off, like Volition just got closed, so all those developers are gonna be looking for a job. It's just fucking impossible. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to compete with people that have been making games for, though that company has been around for 30 fucking years?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll see. Applied to a ton of internships. I wish I had.
Have you applied for like, you know, like the QA and like the like, you know,
yeah, no one wants. I don't know if this is the case, but I'm guessing that no one wants someone that wants to be a game designer.
So then when you apply for those roles, just don't, you know, play that up on your resume and then get in and be like, I actually have a degree in this. And
I mean, part of the problem is like QA testing is its own field, and every QA testing job I see is like, yeah, high school diploma, but also 5+ years as a QA tester.
What? Really? I thought that was the indoor for the I thought that was like the one that you didn't need experience for, the one that people could, without a degree, could get in.
There are more game programmer positions as far as I could find than game tester positions, and the game tester positions that are available seem to require significant amounts of.
Maybe all that stuff is like completely outsourced these days, like to another country outsourced kind of thing, like just really cheaply.
Maybe. I also wonder if it's just there's a lot of people that like games are the huge industry now, and it doesn't require a degree, and if you were able to find an in, then you were probably able to get started, in high school and stuff. Or maybe they don't even want someone with a degree because maybe they want someone that's going to be a QA tester long term.
Yeah.
It does seem to be most of these testing positions are at companies that are not game developers, so like they clearly hire these dedicated QA testing companies.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that.
So like I wonder if they don't even want to look at someone with a degree because it means they aren't there long. Like why invest in training them if their goal is to not work there anyway? I'll see. I applied to some games, some internships. I wish I had known earlier that internships were really like a thing, and that like I should be focusing on them. I wish my like TA my what is it? My not the TA, my
Guidance counselor, basically.
yeah, whatever the
Adult guidance
fucking
counselor.
college guidance counselor. I forget what they're called. I wish that they were like, hey, you should because I told them I said I wanted to get into games, and they're like, oh, I wish that they. I was like, how can I separate myself? And they told me about this capstone thing, which I took, but that was the thing where I did the baseball programming thing for the guy the actual like businessman.
Have you
thing.
tried reaching out to that dude and being like, you got a job for me anywhere, I'll do whatever?
No, I don't want to. Well, he had offered to let me or to have me keep working on the baseball thing, but I don't want to work doing machine learning baseball shit.
But he
But
would
that
pay you
was
though?
a while ago. Well, I don't know what he would have paid. He had asked me at the end of the term, and I said that's not what I want to do. That I wanted to work on the other thing, but I don't know what it would have been. But I don't know. I have recently been applying to also regular programming jobs, so we'll see.
Yeah.
And I had someone get back to me, and I had to take a test or whatever, like an online programming test. So we'll see.
I'm certainly in no rush for you to get a job, because I think as soon as you get a job, your work on this game is going to go down drastically. Because like especially in the I mean, I think you're gonna be. Well, it depends what job you get, but like if you work, you know, like if like crunch and all that stuff is as bad as I've heard, and just like the industry is as like hard, you know, feet to the fire as I've heard. I feel like, you know, you're gonna be in that phase where it's like it's a new job, you want to impress, you never want to go home until someone tells you to go home mode. That's what I'm imagining is gonna happen. Maybe that won't happen, but
we'll see. Also, like, I mean, that's only if I get like a job in the games industry world, and if I get jobs in the games industry world, I might be able to take that experience and come back out here with it. But also I wonder, not to like shit on other people's shitty work experiences, but like Alliance, you could like if it's not the same fucking word, but it has quote unquote crunch.
yeah,
the crunch is fucking year round, and or you know, it's just not the crunch isn't tied to a release schedule. There are like times
there are shorter.
Like, every industry has crunch.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could. I wouldn't say there was crunch I could say maybe Alliance and I would say CNS, the wholesale grocer place, had crunch, quote unquote, in the sense that like if people got wind that it was going to be a long day, fewer people would show up sometimes, and then everyone else would have to pick up the slack. But like, so you end up staying like super late, or like.
Well, you've even had in your current job a couple of weeks where you were just so busy you couldn't do anything else.
Yeah,
like, I mean, that is what crunch is basically. I mean, for game development, it just seems to be centered around the back end, the tail end of a development cycle, for a game. But like, I would say it comes more frequently for places like Alliance, but you do get reprieves.
Yeah.
You know, seasonal reprieves, basically.
Well, I think what defines it as like in the games industry being like worthy of its own term, crunch, is like it has that for extended periods, like 6 months to a year periods sometimes. Like
I would say that there was time in Alliance where I was doing that same thing. Like when I had to handle the freezer shit, that was fucking a nightmare. When I was going in, when I first became the manager of the lab operations stuff, I fucking had to go in all the time and handle the freezer, people not doing or handling the freezers properly. I had to, or like with the freezer breakdowns, I was also already on call for the IT shit.
Yeah.
I was working fucking 60 hours a week at Alliance.
I just also think if you get a job programming all day, like your desire to want to come home and program in your spare time is going to be, mine would be minimal.
There'll be some truth to that, but it depends. I think the things I learn depending on what area I get into, and the stuff I do might wind up being like I might wind up saving a lot of time because I've done the work already.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You'll just
Yeah.
learn a lot more. You'll become faster at it. Definitely, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I don't know when who knows when these. Also, the like I applied to some Epic internships, which I feel like I'm fucking qualified for, but who knows? It's Epic Games. I'm sure there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people applying to these internships. But
Epic's big enough
yeah.
though that you know there's also probably potentially hundreds of
Spots.
spots to fill.
They said that they don't have any specific, like in I think the application process, they're like, we don't have any specific number of spots to fill. We're not, we're just going to, we don't have a specific time frame. We're just going to bring people on as we, that we think fit the role, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that was the first one where I approached my cover letter as like, it was a game design position, game design, because I am comfortable with C++. I'm pretty sure I know I could do a job in C++, but I don't think I could comfortably say I am experienced enough to apply to programming positions that say you need to be expert in C++, something like that. If I had to take a C++ test, I don't necessarily know that I would nail it, in a week.
Yeah, I mean, if they literally say expert, maybe not, but
Yeah, proficient. I usually apply to the proficient ones because it's really not that hard. C++ isn't that complicated, actually. But anyway, in my cover letter, because it was a game design thing, I described this game, and I also described D&D, the asymmetric, the charades helmet. I thought that was
right on.
And just as an example of like how you could use in that specific situation, it could, because of the fact that we were online and we were using tabletop simulator and stuff, we were able to use asymmetric communication, which wound up making it being an interesting game mechanic.
I know you were like saying that like what you're interested in is like like sort of like atmospheric shaders and like visual programming kind of stuff. But if you're interested in design, I think you would like to be a systems designer.
I'll take any fucking job, honestly. Just get me in the industry. I like the graphic stuff because it looks cool, and it's nice having that immediate feedback stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I am basically acting as a systems designer for this game that we're making.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like both of them. I also wouldn't mind being a game, like a game mechanics, like an actual game designer. I think that would be fun because I like a lot. I really enjoy like designing the D&D campaigns and shit. Like that is a lot of fun to me. Really, I just love video games and want to work in them.
Yeah, I would work in any of the design fields, absolutely. Types of game designers. There's like 4 types that they say in the video, basically. The 4 types.
Level of audio and
content designer, that's sort of what you were just talking about. Level designer, systems designer. Where's the 4th? That's 3. They must have not put the last pip in.
Is it maybe in like the description?
Okay, great. Let's finish things off with experience designers. Have you ever
experience designer?
Perfect experience design.
I don't even know what that would be.
And shit,
yeah.
Maybe?
Is so amazing that it steals the show.
Like I think that's like you're the guy who working on Spider-Man's swing the whole game or whatever,
yeah,
like while
so.
everyone else is doing everything else. I actually would not mind doing that. It's like one of my favorite things to do in a action-based game is to like really sit down and just fiddle over tiny numbers until the running around feels good.
Yeah.
But I think a level designer is what I would be most interested in, I think, and that's why lately I've been trying to get a little bit more into environment design, and I want to make the world.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see if anyone comes back. Every day I look for new. I just basically Google a new big video game company and apply to their internship programs. I just
How do you,
uh,
how do people find paying jobs? Because there are people who have paying jobs at like 5 to 10 person companies. How do you find those jobs? Because that's
assume
what
there's
I
a
would
lot
want.
of networking people you know, right?
Yeah,
Because they're not
probably.
like posting that shit out. They're just like, hey, I have a friend of a friend that does this, and I saw his work and it looked cool. Why don't we bring him on?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I've been going through though and opening up my GitHub a little bit, and I need to take videos of this shit and put pictures up on the GitHub pages for my old projects and shit, just so I can show that I've been doing this for a while actually, because I think even my website, well, I think it looks good now.
What is your, let me look at your website. What is it,
Yeah, it's in Discord. I'll paste it again so it's easier to find. There we go. Right now it's only got the phishing scam.
nice. This does look nice.
Yeah, and then you can click on any of those. Well, I guess I'll let you. I mean, I guess I already ruined the thing. But yeah.
Oh yeah, videos too. That's awesome.
It's mobile optimized, and there's a little about me page, which really doesn't mean much or anything. But and then I do have a WebGL section on the top right up there. But I guess most people are just gonna come.
I would just call this drawing classifier. Just cause
Yeah.
it's maybe
I
more
do have a
immediately
description of it
graphable.
in my cover
Yeah.
letter, and I have a description of it in my
Okay,
about
so
me,
anyone
so
seeing this would be familiar with
would
what
see
it is.
that.
Okay.
That's just the Fmod thing.
You should put the climbing one in here. I think you did a pretty good job on that. Like that's
I gotta put a lot of shit in here. Yeah, I think there's a lot of. I think one thing I need to do would be a
also,
better. Like I want to put Nico and Remy's Christmas thing on here.
yeah.
I want to put the heist game on here.
Ooh, this would be impressive. Could you put Nico and Remy's thing on there, but have it also look into whoever's phone is, like, if they were to access it on their phone, be like, you look at this on your phone, basically, like, download this, and then have it, like, pick a random spot near them. I guess maybe people could die, actually, doing this idea, but be like,
Have the I mean it could work, but the only downside would be I don't think most phones will let you just install shit like that unless you have developer mode turned on. Like I turned on developer mode on your phone in order to sideload that app onto it.
mm.
Most phones won't work with that. It also doesn't work for Apple phones. But I mean, I just need to show. I'll just do a quick screenshot or like a quick GIF of all the, or edited together video of all the different puzzles and shit. And I'll try to. I'll probably make my record the little particle effect thing manually.
You could just put it probably on the Play Store. Like I imagine it's not that hard to get something on there. You could probably just put something on the Play Store so that your phone has a channel, like someone with an Android phone would have a channel to get it. I think that would
most likely get me to mobile games stuff, but we'll see. I'll see what I want to do with it. But the point is, I want to get it on here. I need to get the heist game stuff on here. Because that at least shows some networking stuff, which is cool. But at this point, I'm probably gonna need like
Squawky Talkie.
to make
Also.
a real website. Like this website is a static site, so it loads all of the data all at once. Like all those GIFs get loaded, like get stored in your browser's memory all at once. Squawky Talkie would be cool, but I don't think it's set for use. I'd have to finish it, or at least make it a little better.
I think that would be impressive. That's something you don't see a lot in networked games, is recorded audio that plays from the player that plays back to other players. I can't think of any game that does it actually.
I could work on finishing it out. That is a cool thing, but that is also through
The person reviewing your portfolio
Photon,
is
and I'd have to look at get that shit working again. If it's not already set up, it might be. I wonder if after so much time of inactivity, if it would automatically close shit.
A small amount of good stuff is powerful, so don't
But
delay.
yeah,
And I know that there are many
definitely
of you
cool
out there
stuff
who are
to be-
multi-talented and want to.
I think I
show
just
that
have
you can
to
draw, script, and do game design.
show off some
But
more of the shit
your
that
resume
I've
should
actually
tell you
done,
that.
because
When
I
you
actually do
build
have a
your
lot of work
portfolio,
done. I
If you're
just
really
don't have
thinking
it.
about applying to several different disciplines within this field, make
in
portfolio
place.
sites for each
Oh,
one.
here's a good
I
one.
also
This will be
What's
this is like a good piece of advice. This will probably be. I mean, you'll see how when you get all the stuff that you'd want to show on there, like how much stuff you actually have on there. But look, you have a decent amount already, and this is saying like if you're applying to several different disciplines, make different portfolios per discipline and focus on your strongest work for each of that thing rather than showing like it's like use your resume to show me that you can do to tell me you can do all these other things. But you know, if you have enough work and you're applying to multidisciplinary things,
At the very least,
make
sure
different
each one has its own page, because
iterations
the
of
last
it
thing
for
you want
each
is to apply
one.
for a position, say as a texture artist, and then someone looking at your portfolio thinks, kind of looks like they really want to be a sound.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably.
Okay,
I need
so we've
to
got our audience.
finish. Like I said, I'll need to make it a real
Now,
website
let's
because
talk
right
about
now
the
it
nuts and
just is
bolts
a
of
static
creating
page. It's
a
just
simple
I only post
We'll
it as a
start with
static
some
page
general
because it's
pointers,
free
and then move to specific tips for
to
each
do this, and it
discipline
also
that
showed
you
like I
can
programmed this
First,
page.
keep
This
the
is all
portfolio
programmed
clean and simple.
by me.
As a
How all
designer
these
or an
interactions, how
artist,
this all
no
looks
one's
and
going to
feels, and
hire
how it
you
all
if your
works.
portfolio page is ugly
But
or
it's
poorly laid out.
static, which
And
means as
honestly,
soon as
if
you
your
come to
page
this
looks
page,
amateurish,
it
people are
loads
going to be
all of
less
this
likely
all
to
at
look at
once.
it, even if you're applying for a sound
And
design
it just stores it
portfolio.
in memory. But
But if graphic
I
design
will
isn't your
need to
thing, here's a
basically make
template.
it so that
If only we knew
it
of
pulls
a
it
way
when
we
you
could
need
find
the
some of
shit.
those.
Probably have an
Seriously,
actual
though,
server.
there are
How
great
easy would it be to
starting
pull
points, and
this
no
scene
one's
into
going to fault you,
the
especially if it's not in your field.
into
Next,
the
focus on the
Rune
work.
game?
You don't need to post a full bio about it.
This used a
And in fact,
custom
text should be kept
package
to a
that let
minimum.
me
Use it to
do
explain your
add
thought process, or use it to point out really interesting things
shaders
about your
or
work that might not be
materials
immediately obvious at first glance. But think of words.
to as a post rendering process. So it's a custom shader programmed in GLSL, and then actually no, I think I actually programmed that in ShaderGraph, and then it's applied to a material, and then I found a GitHub package that works with Unity that lets you do a full screen. It's called a full screen blit, I guess, and it's like it basically lets you add materials as post processing effects in URP. So we could do it, but it requires a third party package which may not work with our Unity version. I'd have to check.
Okay, I would like to if we could just pull this in actually. I would like to use this scene that you have here as the starting point for the tutorial. I'm going a different direction with the tutorial than like an actual area. It's just literally going to be like my vision of it. I didn't even think about it until I saw this, like linking these two things, but my vision of it was just like you're in a dark room, spotlight turns on, you know, there's some cool lighting, and it says, you know, walk to me, and then it shows the WASD or whatever, and then you know, you walk to the spotlight, and then the spotlight turns off, spotlight, or maybe just swings over to something else that was in the total darkness before, and is like, you know, go here, and there's like a hole that you have to jump over, right? So you've now got walking and jumping, and then, you know, it just goes on like that for the two or three things that you need to do, and then at the end it asks you to draw a picture to represent yourself. I think that's always a good way to get the player immediately invested, is asking them to express themselves somehow, like Undertale, or like, what's your favorite food? What do you like? Rockin' in Earthbound kind of thing. And then, you know, the drawing one is the last one, unless we do put activation in, then you know the eating animals and stuff will be, and then everything will just be maybe it's not the final tutorial, but for showing off to people in like it'll be quick for showing off to people in like Philly game mechanics and stuff like that. It'll be very straightforward. It's just like boom, boom, boom. Here's what you gotta know. Go.
Yeah, I think that could be cool. Like almost, I mean, I'm imagining like almost like a Stanley Parable kind of vibe.
Sure. Yeah.
Like with the dark scenes, dark lights, or whatever that other Stanley Parable like game was. And
then maybe after you draw the picture, these eyeballs all appear, and it's like, and it's like don't come near me, right? And all these lights are all moving around, and you can walk towards the eyeballs, and then it gets more crazy and red like it does here, and you know the don't come near me is like huge on the middle of the screen, and then they're just black, and then the game starts, right?
That could be cool.
Doesn't even have to mean anything. just could be what it is.
Cool atmospheric thing.
Yeah. And like the work of that is like almost 100% done in this. Like.
Yeah, this wasn't too hard to do. The hardest part was just getting the effect. We could probably even figure out how to add this in as our own post-processing effect, just by working with the camera rendering shit itself. We could probably do it the real way without just.
That was a Necroskull you made that, right? Or is it your own separate thing?
That was a school project I did that for.
Okay.
It was for just a shader assignment.
If you wanna, don't feel like doing the work to pull that in, and that's all that's in that project, and you wanna like give me access to it, I can work on pulling it in.
I could look into it. I'll see how hard it is to do. I also just don't want to bring in a pack. I'll have to take a look at the package that I use, the open source code, to make sure that it won't fuck with our Unity version. So that I want to avoid that accidentally fucking with it. Also, like if we want to eventually sell something, that package isn't our code. That's someone else's code. So.
I'm pretty sure most of the maybe not all of it, but like a lot of the things on the Unities, the packages you would use like are like fine for commercial use. You just have to look at what the license is.
Well, yeah, that's not on Unity. It was literally just on GitHub. The guy shared it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not even on Unity. It was just a public GitHub I found. Of a guy being like, "Hey, this is not it's not technically supported or anything. It's not." So we'll see. Probably just that guy showing off for his own job.
Yeah, you could reach out to. I'm sure you could reach out to him through the GitHub and say, "Can I use the? Would I be able to use this in a commercial project if I credited you?"
Yeah. Yeah, my focus right now. Usually, I spend about half the day working on new features for the game, which has lately been the plane tunneling shit, the door rune, basically. Working out the math for that, but and then I spend the other half of the day either applying or fixing up like the website and shit. So.
Also, if you're gonna put a cut rune in, of course, the cut rune has to be the thing. I was thinking, you know, in my head I was like all but ready to say 100% I want, you know, this symbol that you did. I'm probably not doing it well. You did it more wider and it looks cooler.
I mean that's the basic idea, like the weird mirrored person symbol.
But I wanted to then have you draw out an angle from it to define the mirror. But if we're gonna ever do something that's like a scissor line, right, that has to be the cut, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like you could draw the rune, and if we have a system that for like the light rune, if we have a system that identifies that shit, then we can have it work the same way.
Also, actually, it should work on the ground too. Like the cut rune, you should be able to put a box here, and then like a cube, a real box, like a in-game box,
Yeah.
not something you draw, and then just go boom, 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 boom. Actually, I guess you'd have to walk right through it. Never
Walk
mind.
over it. Yeah.
Or but so you'd put this down first, right? Then put the box there, then go boom, activate, and then boom. There's got to be an activate button, right? There's just too much that.
It depends on how we're trying to design it. That is the question. Is how do we want to design it? Activate button could be cool. I'm not against it at any point. The thing is we need to get puzzles in here to test out, and we probably should just program an activate button in, and test both control schemes. Also, we need to switch over to the new controller stuff just because it'll be easier in the long run to do it. We gotta stop avoiding it because eventually, basically what that new controller stuff lets us do is you define like a set of controls as labels basically as a string, and then you can define what affects those, what calls those individually. So like you have the jump action. I guess they're literally defined as actions. So you have the jump action, and then you can set up things that will activate the jump action, whether that be a space button or an X button. And then that will also let people I think that got fizzled because it looks like a spiral. You can let people redefine their keyboard shortcuts and shit. Their key bindings.
Also, we could literally have, if we do this as the cut rune, right? I could cut this into 4 pieces or something with, by putting it like there. And like we could have puzzles where it's like literally like these mechanical solution to it is not much different from something you'd see in Half-Life, like those kind of like physics, but like you could have a thing where there's like you have to slide a box into this spot for puzzle part 1. Then you move on to puzzle part 2, and you've got a box, but it's too big to fit in the thing, right? Yeah. So then you chop it and you put it in there, and then there might even be some that are like even more clever. Like, okay, if I cut this shape of thing this way, it would fit into this spot perfectly. And figuring out how to draw the thing on the ground to then slice the thing to
Yeah, there's cool stuff. I mean, we could have a repair rune that's basically like, if we track the cuts, like track the original object and the number of objects that belong to it, kind of thing. Basically, we'd probably just have that all under one game object, and then, then that parent game object would track like how many pieces there are underneath it, right? And then if you can get all of them in a repair rune, it would just merge it back to the original
right
model.
you find one piece and then draw the rune under it, and then all the other pieces like levitate up in the air and then zoom to it, and then it's like
that could be cool,
like a puff, and then it's just back to its normal state. That would be rad as fucking hell.
Yeah, definitely stuff to do. Yeah, first I gotta get the cutting stuff in. I got the plane working, so now I can tell where I need to cut. I just need to
feed that to the. So you said that it is a like a package you're using to do the actual cutting.
No, that's still. I mean, I don't have any cutting in. I just have. This is all just it's just geometry right now.
Oh, okay. You said something about a package though, didn't you? Maybe I've been thinking of a different
project. I might have said I'm trying to avoid having to use a package, so that we can.
Because I'm pretty sure I own. Let's check.
Yeah, I know you own a package. I'm trying to learn how to do it myself so that we can use it for not just like cutting, but what if I want to carve a hole through something? That's not a cut, really. It's its own thing. I
wonder. I just want to see, because that was like one of the very first things I ever bought on here. Literally, maybe the first.
Yeah. Also, this lets me then put it on my resume or something.
Yeah, that's fair. I sort these by Purchased it. Okay. Apparently the first thing I got was Free Island Collection. This is definitely not in the order of when I got it. I don't think.
It's showing June, May. It is going backwards from here. That's it looks like you skipped some pages.
Yeah, I did. I know I thought it was like super early that I got this. Or maybe it's just the first thing that I
Like
actually
all those
bought.
are free access.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that's been kind of a bummer is I don't know if you saw the new Unity fee structure shit. But like basically once you pass 200,000 installs and $200,000 in revenue, they will charge you 20 cents for every install of the game, which is fucking ridiculous because not that because like one person could install the game 20 times. And that is counts against your like fee structures.
That is dumb.
People and I'm reading shit that everyone like of actual developers that
Should
are
be
just
around here. Mesh deformation, maybe?
could be. But I'm reading stuff for oh that looks like a cut, right? There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Hey, look at him drawing in World. I've done that.
I like that. I don't know why I love this.
The ball and
Ball hitting the car.
yeah, super impressive with what he's doing, what this stuff is.
I still have to fucking figure out how to get all these trees and shit to work with the Unity terrain system.
Hmm.
Cause I want to make the map, I want to make the map kind of big. Not huge, but like I want there to be a fair amount of negative space, like just like empty space to walk through and like I don't know. I also saw this video called Games That Don't Fake their staircases or something. Games that, what's it called? Games that don't fake space. And it's just talking about like all the games that like where like you know it starts off with the whole like very famous like Dark Souls, or maybe this is Demon Souls, like that one long hallway where you fight the one boss, and it's just like, you know, functionally what it is it's a lost, or you know, it's a track that just replaces what's ahead of and behind you, and then he goes into like, here's all the games that fucking don't ever do it that way. And like apparently there was like some driving game for like the PS2 or PS3 that was like that had like a map the size of like North America basically, and it was all there, right? And like here's a game where this staircase literally goes down like fucking forever, and I don't know, something about that really appeals to me for this game especially. This is the game, I don't know what it's called.
I thought about movie scenes with these.
He's like, it's a bad game, but it's crazy because it's just like it's the first. It's kind of like the first No Man's Sky, right?
Commercial. Essentially, games version there is In this endless row of identical blocks, you can fly for what feels like miles. Break Utopias, fittingly, also penned by Gareth Damian
Yeah, I'll
Martin.
figure out the mesh stuff
The game's
soon.
developer said
that
in that
in.
magazine that there are no invisible
Yeah, I got a
walls
lot
in
of stuff
Naissance,
to do.
and thus
Hopefully
no
someone
security.
fucking looks at my portfolio and actually wants to use it. Alright, though. I'm gonna call it for tonight, probably. And get started again tomorrow.
Right on. I'm going to, real quick, try and make it so that when I'm climbing around on shit, it's easier to jump. I maybe just need to ground check.
No, I'm glad the drawing is smoother. I'll work on making that even smoother going, in a little bit. Probably, I'll probably balance that between my working on that and working on the new stuff just to keep myself sane, working on something new. But next time I have an update, I'll let you guys know.
Right on.
Later.
Later. We just make this bigger. 2, 2, 2. What's a weird show?